What's up, everyone? Tera Roberts here with 4for4, and we are talking late round targets, players being drafted outside the top 150 in ADP. And we're going to kick things off with Jerome Ford. To be clear, this is not an attack on Nick Chubb. Chubb is one of the best pure runners in the game, and with Hunt gone, he should thrive and is a top 12 lock. But Jerome Ford is an excellent late round target. His ADP is on the rise, and it might seem a little risky grabbing a handcuff with no actual track record, but Ford is set to be the RB2 in the Browns offense, an offense that has been committed to a two-back system throughout Nick Chubb's entire career. Temper expectations, though, because the offense is adjusting to the play of Deshaun Watson and playing to his strengths, but it's reasonable to expect that Ford could earn some kind of standalone value. And Chubb is coming off the heftiest workload of his career, and that should continue in 2023. If the wear and tear of a big season gets the best of him, Ford could step into a golden opportunity. Another late round option that I am currently loving is John Metchie. I feel like sometimes we conveniently forget that John Metchie is a former second round pick from Alabama that put up 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns opposite of Jameson Williams. And the year before that, he kind of did the same thing with 900 yards and 6 touchdowns opposite of Devonta Smith and partially Jalen Waddle. While it's clear that Metchie will never be a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football, more than likely, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, there's no reason that he can't be the wide receiver 1 of the Texans. Anytime I talk about the Texans, I talk about the fact that I am loving taking chances on their receiving core because the Texans' wide receiver room is wide open. This year is technically Metchie's rookie season, so treating him as such, he's actually got the perfect draft profile for year 1 success in the NFL. Good hands, good routes, versatile, good speed. He has no glaring weaknesses and should transition well in the NFL. My next late round pick is a guy out of New Orleans. Now, I am a Chris Olave girl through and through, but I absolutely love Rashid Shaheed as the wide receiver 2 for New Orleans. Yes, I am anointing him as the wide receiver 2 because I simply refuse to believe that a man we haven't seen play a full season since 2019 is suddenly going to figure out how to play one. So we are bypassing Michael Thomas and we are jumping on the Rashid Shaheed train. Shaheed should play the majority of his snaps out wide opposite of Chris Olave, and that is fantastic for his potential connection with Derek Carr. When we evaluate Derek Carr and what he brings to the Saints, I don't think it's fair to reference his 2022 numbers. That version of Derek Carr wasn't really his typical self. That was Mike McDaniel's version of Derek Carr, and it didn't do very well. Typical Derek Carr is a volume quarterback, strong downfield. In 2021, he threw 4,800 yards. In 2020, he got off to an insane start where he threw the second most yards through the first 7 games of the season behind only Tom Brady, before things derailed with Darren Waller's injuries and the issue with Henry Ruggs. Carr has many faults, but pure volume isn't going to be an issue here, and that is fantastic for Shaheed. With this next guy, first things first, I am a card-carrying, certified Kenneth Gainwell truther. But I promise my trutherism is not going to taint the reality of this Eagles backfield. If we know one thing about Swift and Penny, it's that their talent is through the roof and their injury rate is right up there with it. I don't really like to call players injury prone and downgrade them for potential injuries that haven't even happened, but it's kind of tough to deny a pattern here. There's a very real possibility that we see Gainwell as the lead back by week 7. Oddly enough, Gainwell is the lightweight between all of these 3 backs, but he's shown 3 down back capability, and despite his size, he's been utilized at the goal line. If he lucks up on a lead back role, I truly think he could thrive. There are a few late round running backs whose value depends on free agency signings. They could have value as backups if guys like Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, or Ezekiel Elliott don't invade their backfield. But there's one guy who I am grabbing regardless of what happens over the next 2 months, and that is Chase Brown. Brown's 5th round draft capital doesn't exactly scream superstar, but the Bengals depth chart is weak, and Brown should be Mixon's direct handcuff. Brown is a true 3-down back with huge college production. He averaged a minimum of 5 yards per carry every single year he played in college, with over 1,600 yards on the ground his senior year, and 27 receptions. If Mixon went down, Brown is the back that the Bengals could feel comfortable with giving a full workload. And he could also have value beyond being a handcuff. Mixon averaged 58.1 yards per game and 3.9 yards per carry. If he comes out and puts up that same type of production, there's a possibility that the Bengals could start to reduce his workload, and I could see Brown having some standalone value similar to Samaje Perine last year. Now, I am 100% in on Ramondre Stevenson. His ADP is still very reasonable, his upside is undeniable, and I do believe that he'll see the majority of snaps. But In the event that another running back creeps in there because Bill Belichick just can't help himself, I am placing my bets on Pierre Strong. Strong's receiving upside offers a path to relevancy. His usage was limited in 2022 and really only occurred when Stevenson and Damian Harris were injured, but from that tiny sample, he looked good. Excellent yards per carry, caught every target. We know that the receiving back role is extremely valuable in the Patriots offense. Strong is a high upside late round handcuff with potential standalone value. And finally, I'm going to close this out with someone people just likely won't want to hear, but hear me out. Grabbing Kyler Murray late might be a league-winning pick. We currently have no timetable on Kyler Murray's return, so everyone is just guessing at this point. And the lack of information from the Cardinals is leading to a lot of people saying that Kyler won't play at all, and that he won't play until 2024. And the Cardinals will just tank and get the first overall pick. I get the logic behind that, but here's the problem. That hinges on Kyler being willing to sit out so the Cardinals can make the choice between him and Caleb Williams. There are some other issues as well. When Kyler does come back, he'll have a receiving core that is without DeAndre Hopkins and a brand new offense. But when Kyler Murray has been healthy, he's been one of the top fantasy assets in the league. I suspect he'll be back by midseason. That gives him some time to adjust and get ready for the end of the fantasy playoffs where he can pay off for you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Comment below and let me know which of these late round targets you're grabbing. Be sure to subscribe and like this video and stick around for more fantastic off-season content.